Welcome to Sith Talk, brought to you by Gattacar and Lanyard, bringing you news from Star Wars The Old Republic and beyond. Join us now as we explore the universe and take down the Republic in a galaxy not so far away. Hey everybody, it's Gattacar, and of course we're back with another exciting episode of Sith Talk. I continually say exciting, and I'm not exactly sure how exciting it is, but according to our fans, they look forward to hearing from us every week, so that's definitely a good thing. We've got a little bit of news this week. We've actually, as we like to say, we are gamers. We are brought to you by gamers and with the support of other gamers. And this week we actually stand by that idea. We have a contributor. A true contributor, not just a sponsor of our podcast. And I got onto a little bit of an interview with Joe Hagen this week because, as I told him, we recorded, 1, 2 in the morning. So, sometimes 3, you never really know. And I tell you guys, hey, we really would like to have you be part of the show. And I really do mean it. And so, of course, Lanyard is excited to do it too. Unfortunately, most of you guys probably aren't up when we are, or at least when we're recording. Right. So I saw in my PayPal that we had gotten a fantastic donation from a couple people. I contacted Joe and I said, Joe, you want to be part of the show. Obviously you're not necessarily able to be up when we're recording. So how about this? And we threw together an interview, talked to him for about 20 minutes on his feelings of FTP. So we're going to actually include that in this week's episode. We've got a return of the wife. She's back with the Galactic Librarian, and I'm excited to hear her back because I do actually like listening to my wife read to me. It's sort of like getting a bedtime story in the middle of the day.
Aww.
So it works out very well for me. And of course, as we usually do, we try to find out what we've heard from our fans and different reviews and little snippets we get here and there. So we've got some emails, some comments from our YouTube page, some new iTunes reviews, and I also had a chance to talk via Messenger from Steam with one of our original early subscribers back in the early days when I first started recording with Kevin. So we've got a rather full show for you guys today, regardless of whether or not Star Wars decides to give me a shit ton of news or not. Much like Fox News, I'm happy to make this shit up as I go along, and you guys seem to enjoy that. What do you think? Fox is 100%. Come on, it's like saying CBS is. Anyway,
let's stick to Star Wars. Yeah, we'll go into politics on some other podcast.
Oh, we got to do that other podcast. Anyway, as we always do, we got to make sure we start off by paying the rent. I'm going to actually start off with our contributors. Our contributors this week, because we did get donations in, we want to make sure and thank Joe Hagen for his generous donation. And, of course, our buddy Kevin, who we also know in-game, at the very least, is Kiwi, have both dropped a little bit of change into our till, and we want to thank them very much for that.
Thank you.
Money is in short supply thanks to certain economical issues, and we do thank you guys for any bit of cash you can help us out with. It does help keep the wheels on the bus go round and round. Also, of course, we have our lovely sponsor, Audible. audibletrial.com/Sith Talk entitles you to 30 days of Audible, just a trial, just to get your feet wet with it. And, of course, you do get a free book out of that. So at the very least, that free trial is worth at least anywhere from $10 to $25 so that you guys can check out Audible. I love the service. I actually bought I've got quite a few books now from Audible. Last week I told you guys that I was listening to the Infected book again, and of course I am. And then we've got there was another book, and it's a little bit drier. I will admit it's not necessarily for the casual reader. However, I have a feeling we have a few hardcore nerds out there. So I want to throw the other book out there. It's Galileo's New Universe, The Revolution. Very analytical. As I said, it's good for me. I love science, and it goes over Galileo's view of the universe and his discoveries throughout his lifespan. So it's really cool if you like science.
Does it have the guy from Ferris Bueller's read it? That would be awesome.
No.
Ben Stein.
No, but it is a really good book. I'm enjoying it. It's a bit long-winded, but if I don't know, you're studying for some fucking science class in college, it would be tits to get to listen to that for you. I myself enjoy it. I am somewhat of a science nerd, and we had a recent landing on Mars that, of course, that Lanyard was
Yes.
so excited about. So
We all were, dude. We were all on. We all
yeah,
listened to it. It was great.
something near 200,000 people watching the stream as it landed, and I was bitching because, well, that's the quality photographs we get. Fucking plume of damn dust. And they're like, well, these are just the initial landing pictures. And then
Have you
we
seen the
got,
ones lately?
yeah.
The ones lately are great looking.
I wonder though.
In
If
fact,
Lanyard,
I wanted to take that panoramic that they have,
yeah.
and I haven't done it, and maybe one of our listeners will do it now that I mention it. But I wanted to take that panoramic and then like Photoshop in a Jawa, the big land crawler from Tatooine. It's in the background there, or maybe some sand people running by a bantha or something.
But yeah, no, hit audibletrial.com/Sith Talk. If you decide to join, like I always say, it's $15 a month, free book. Either way, you save about $6-7, and of course, they throw a little bit of money into our till, so that's definitely a
Ka-ching.
major thing. And of course, want to make sure we keep up with housekeeping. This week we found out we actually have a total of 66 YouTube subscribers. Last episode saw about 130 30 or so views, so that's definitely cool. Tons of comments on there. We've got about 407 subscribers on Podomatic.com, as well as 630 downloads. Our Twitter is only up to about 21, but that's okay, guys, because we really don't tweet that fucking much.
I do. I've been tweeting more now than I have with Facebook, actually.
Holy yeah, I noticed we hadn't posted much on Facebook, and I was like, where's Lanyard been? But yeah.
I've been tweeting.
But we did have a lot of feedback this week. Once again, the viewer-based show here. We got one from Joe, and Joe didn't include his last name, his character name, and all the other stuff. But it's not Joe Hagen. And he says, "Hey guys, love the show. Love you guys. Love the show. I have a couple of new guild names when the FTP drops. Veto welfare, and we don't accept food stamps." Which of course Lanyard will be thrilled by. I don't think we do not accept food stamps.
It's a bit long.
I don't think that'll fit, but I think no food stamps might actually work out. Also, I think you guys do a great job of rolling out the new content in the news. Maybe you could help out and go into things with a little bit more detail. For example, when you guys talked about augments, maybe you could tell us how we get the slot, what goes in it, and how to do it. Cats on Fire, gotta go. Cats on Fire. So thank you for the email, Joe, and of course the salute to our comment about cats in our last show. Over on YouTube, we had a few varied comments, and I want to go through those. Star Wars Freak 130. It says there were two actual posts, and I'm going to hit both of them. I'm going to end up hitting them out of the order I copied them like an asshole, but whatever. I'm going to go with this one. I love you guys. I love your guys' podcast. I am Safara, by the way. Even though I doubt you remember me, I've been tanking hard modes on her, and love it. But my guild basically disbanded. And now, Safara, I do remember you. We actually were talking. She actually stopped, or Safara's character actually stopped me when I was PvP queuing for PvP on one of my characters, and we had a nice long discussion about how much that person enjoyed the game. And Safara actually goes by the Star Wars Freak 130 tag on YouTube. And yes, I actually do remember. I remember every fan. You're still on my friends list, oddly enough, from before we transferred off of Port Nowhere. So no worries. I know you're still out there, and I know you probably don't see me on if you did add me to friends, but that's probably because we've been playing pubs pretty hard. But we'll get into that during the week. Safara also says, "I will stick with the game no matter what happens to it. I'm not going to stop paying for it and keep on saying how great of a great game it is. I'm completely with you guys, and I hope people will see what an impact this game has had on MMOs. Now most of the new MMOs have voice acting This game is a breakthrough for MMOs. I tried WoW for a bit and didn't feel connected with my tune. I hope this game will pull itself out of the dirt. Keep up the great podcast. So we want to thank you for that. Mr. Dylan683 says, wonderful show, guys. I don't think I will go free to play like a guildmate of I'm assuming mine's of a guildmate of mine said to me, I spend too much time invested in my tune to drop all the perks of a sub. If I do not play a while, I will stop paying and then come back. So, kind of a little bit this way, that way. As far as right now, Dylan's saying he's playing a lot. No sense in losing all the perks of having a paid account. But if, time wanes on him, he probably will go back. We'll go to the FTP idea. And that's respectable. I can dig with it. I can deal with it. Doesn't make sense to pay for something you're not playing, but it's also nice to be able to pop in every so often to see how the things are going. And then Brownie Land says, great show, very informative for us old men who are new to MMOs. Keep it coming. And I don't know. I kind of feel old. I'm 34, so I guess in the grand scheme of things, I've got maybe 30 more years till I die. Who knows? But I'm glad to hear that we are a user-friendly product, so definitely makes me happy. Chuck Hound is what I'm assuming this is. Chuck Hound 1, it's CK Hound 1, says, hey guys, great podcast, like always, really getting me interested in the game again. That is, after I'm done replaying Mass Effect games for the 200th time.
Nice.
Now, there were two new reviews on iTunes, which I really enjoyed. I'm going to read Con Artist first. Con Artist gave us 5 stars. He says, this is an amazing group of people who I feel have a true chemistry and could make dirt interesting. I've been listening since the beginning. Originally started because of Kevin /Whitesword. They honestly got me excited to play Star Wars again, and I'm resubbing because of them, which makes me damned proud.
Woohoo!
Now, the other one makes me really proud, too, and it made Sudo smile.
Okay.
Shellbag gave us a 5-star review. He says, I love you guys. Love the show. I look forward to hearing from you every week. Oh, yeah. And to the guy who said to have the chick stop reading, that's his wife, douchebag.
Nice.
I want to make sure I read that just right because I want to put the exclamation marks where they were in my sentences.
Right.
But yeah, my wife heard that. Like I read it to her, and she's just, big cheesy grin.
Cool.
I tell you guys every week, man. My wife records the librarian because she enjoys it.
Yep.
Though her reading skills for recording may not be up to your standard, fuck you.
Neither are ours. I mean,
hell yeah.
we stumble through stuff all the time.
Oh yeah,
So
I'm stumbling through this shit. I read the show. That's the beauty of being a fan, more of a fan cast. We're not professional radio. We don't get paid millions of dollars to do this shit. I'm not Howard Stern. I'm not watching someone get puked on. I do the show because we love it. My wife does it because she enjoys sharing that stuff, and she knows I'm too lazy to read the fucking books she's reading. I've downloaded them off iTunes. I still haven't read the fucking things. I'm fat, I'm lazy, and I'm a gamer. I like audio.
Well, hey, if it makes you feel any better, you probably have them too, but I've got all of her segments. I can put them all together for you, and you can put it on your iPad or on your MP3 player and listen to it as an audiobook.
Oh, there you go. I'm even too lazy to edit them together, and I've got them all filed apart too. That's just I'm really lazy. And I did talk to a Mooey Cake Factor. In Steam, as I said, he said he will be continue to be subbing and plans to transfer to the new server because he apparently stayed on Prophecy. He stayed on Planet Nowhere, Port Nowhere, like he hadn't transferred off. So that must have been amazing single player action.
That's like ultimate single player.
But he says he plans to transfer to Prophecy of the Five tomorrow, actually, and he wants to make sure that he joins the Wookiees Guild. And I told him just to message, you or Sudo. I was going to try to get on myself. I don't know if I will because, most of my Mondays are spent pushing the show out to the masses and making sure we're all over the interwebs. Yeah. But all right, so that's housekeeping. Lanyard, I know you said you didn't get a lot of time in this week. What's going on in your world, man? What happened with you?
Well, my week typically goes the same every week. It's Monday after the show, of course, as editing and putting it together. Hopefully, I'm getting that down, so I'll have a little more time to do that. Um, but I've been still working on Suiza. Got her to 47 last night. I think it was last night. Dinged 47 just before I logged off, and so she's almost 50. She's working on Corellia right now. She's very close to being done with her story. So she's almost done with chapter 3, which means then I can skip on over and start doing some dailies. And then so yeah, it didn't do much in the way of the other day, Tuesday, I think it was. I actually ended up getting all of my Flashpoint dailies done, which was crazy. That was awesome. I got all 3 of those done, and then I also got some PvP in. But yeah, I mean the storyline's been going good. It's actually pretty interesting. It kind of wavered a little bit there right after chapter 2, and but now the storyline's getting really good. I finally found the big bomb that we were chasing down, that the original Havocs stole. Track that down on Voss. I'm giving away spoilers, so just FYI to any troopers.
I think how you immediately you just give away the spoil. You're just going over spoilers, and you're like, "Oh, by the way, I'm offering spoilers."
Yeah.
Well,
by
you're
the
about
way,
5 minutes into it, you finish.
I'm not even done.
Oh,
Spoiler alert! If you don't want to know, hit pause now and skip forward to Dat's part. Because here you go. I went to Voss and found the X-47 or whatever it is, the big bomb. Okay.
Yeah.
And now, when you finally track down who's got the bomb, which of course happens to be them dirty Sith, them scum Sith.
No.
Anyway, I know, and not us. And so then, of course, I started probably about the time I got through with whatever the planet was before you get to Voss. I started really just going kind of against the grain.
Is it like Quesh, like every other?
No,
like,
no. It's not Quesh. Quesh was way back. What the hell planet was that? It was before Voss. I don't remember. I was there forever, it seemed like, and I probably just want to get rid of Balmora. Yeah, I might have.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh, could have been Balmora. Anyway,
it doesn't matter.
Anyway, fuck it.
Anyway, it was where I got.
That's not
my
been
last...
a great planet because you're fucking like, I don't remember that shit.
I know I was on Hoth forever. Maybe it was Hoth.
Maybe that was it.
But anyways, about that time, I kind of Suiza's always been kind of, gung ho, Republic, yes
Right.
sir, yes sir, right away sir, but a jerk to everybody else. So like, as long as it's not her boss or someone in the military,
Right.
she was just like, I don't need to do that, or can't you go do that shit yourself, that type of thing, right? Well, now I've become more sarcastic and disobedient, you might say, towards my superiors.
Right.
So Garza is no longer getting the yes, ma'am, we can do that, ma'am, no problem, ma'am. It's like, do we have to go do this shit? It's like, that's not my mission. I'm not doing that crap. What are we now? Rescue team? That type of, this isn't a job for Havoc. I've just been total jerk to her. Right. So then a couple of missions, one of the missions was, go out and, you're supposed to capture this guy, right? So you go down, you fight down his guards, and you go in, and of course you have the conversation with him like you always do. You always talk to the bad guy. So in the middle of the talking, it throws up the options. No, you're coming with us. You're arrested. And then of course, pick 3 was shoot him. Shot him, right? So then you get the holo call from the senator, and he's all like, "What are you doing?" Oh, yeah. So he's like, "What are you doing? I can't believe you did that." You're just pissing the senator off.
Yeah.
And then you go and then you find the guy with the bomb, and then you get to the Sith guy, right? And you're supposed to capture the Sith. Shot the Sith guy, and of course your Alara, she goes, "Yes, sir, he's dead." I love some responses, So then your option is you blow. Okay, so then the Voss come walking in, right? You got the big bomb standing there, and the bomb you've been hunting since level 2. You got to get it back so it gets out of the hands of the bad guys. Got to get back in the Republic's hands. And the Voss come walking in and go, "Hey, we kind of like that bomb. We'd like to trade you some gear for it." Okay. So I said, okay, because you had 3 options, right? 2 options were light side, 1 option was dark side.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going light side at all. So it's like,
Oh wow.
So originally I had Alara up, right? And I said, okay,
Right.
sure, you can have the bomb. Negative 285. Escape, escape, escape. So I pull out the guy that always likes my bad decisions. Tano Vic. He is awesome. And I mean, he's totally corruption. It's great. So I pull him out and say, "No, go ahead. I'll give you the bomb for some crappy gear. No problem, right?" I lost 105 with him. I was like, escape, escape, escape. So I went through all of them, right? And Ewan, FYI, all those people that are, if you have Ewan out during this one, make sure you put him away because it was 785 loss.
Jesus. Well, and it does scale because depending on when you picked him up.
Well, yeah, but I didn't have even 785 with Ewan. I would have been 300 negative. I was like, go.
So you'd have been like my bounty hunter and that dipshit he picked up on the prison planet.
Oh yeah. So then I decided, okay, I'll pull out my droid. I pulled out the ship droid because he doesn't give a shit, right? I didn't lose or gain anything with him. Cool. So I gave the bomb away, which again pissed the. I got back to the senator and he's just, I can't believe you did that, blah blah blah. And of course my response was, it was good policy, It was, and then of course Tano was with me at that time because I pulled him out for all my conversations now, and he goes, and she got a nice chess piece.
Well, see, and the funny thing is, like, the Voss are supposed to be these no violence type of people. Like they're neutral in our battle, and they're like, hey, give us that bomb. It looks like it'll blow shit up.
So yeah, I've just been total dick to everybody. I've told Garza to go piss off. Oh, and then there was a great one. Okay, so I'm supposed to go back to Coruscant.
Right.
And there's a senator that Garza knows and the SIS knows that he's a spy for the Imperials, right? Well, you know how troopers feel about spies. We already screwed over by the Havoc Squad. We, don't take any of that shit, right? So she goes, go in there and talk nice because you have to go to a hearing or something.
Right.
So you go and of course your response is, can't we just kill him? No, you can't kill him right off the bat. You've got to talk to him nice, play nice. Don't do anything that would cause havoc to look bad, right?
Right.
So okay, fine, I'll go in there. So I go all the way back to the Senate Tower, and I pull out Tano because I know it's gonna be good. I pull out Tano, and of course I walk in there, and the senator starts talking, right? And he's blaming everything on Havoc. They're loose cannons, blah blah blah, and then you get your first response wheel, right? And it's like something, shoot the senator. It wasn't even talk to him. I just dropped him right there in the middle of the Senate. And of course they didn't, and everyone's like, what are you doing? Oh my God, you just killed a senator in the middle of the tower. And of course then you have the chance of explaining. Have you checked into his background? He was an Imperial spy, or I do what I want. I do what I want. I was like, yeah, and then I just leave. I'm like, all right, this is great. I can shoot people in the middle of I can shoot senators in the middle of a Senate tower and on the home base of the Republic, and just walk out of there. And then of course I talked to Garza, and she's all pulling her hair out too. It was great. I love this. The story is getting really good, especially now that I'm just being total bitch. And then of course and then the conversations with Tano aren't helping me any because he just offed one of his old rivals, and apparently according to the custom or something like that, whoever he offs off, he gets all their possessions. Well, some of his possessions were all these contracts for illegal weapons. So now he's selling illegal weapons and splitting the profits with me. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yes.
Well, you
Space
remember
is a
when we were on
bad
Ord
part.
Mantell, that's what everybody kept saying was like, yo, you got to do, if you do a trooper, you have to go evil. You have to go evil.
Oh, it's so fun.
Uh,
You're just total. I mean, right now I would be the leader of the Havoc Squad that left.
that chunked you and tried to kill you on Ord Mantell.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, if you got to think, she is married to Lanyard,
yeah.
and he's a bounty hunter, so
Uh,
he's all about profit. So it's rubbing off on her.
yeah.
Speaking of
Apparently
which,
all over her face.
Arik is also making moves on me, and it's pissing me off. Because apparently somewhere down back a few conversations, I somehow eluded that I was interested in him, and so now I can't even tell him to bugger off. It's like my only choices are kiss me, fuck me, or maybe later, buddy. I'm like,
Oh, shit.
oh, and it's like I hate this dude, but I have no choice. It's the conversations I've got. So anyway, that's been my week. I mean, it's been fun just being evil. I got, like I said, I'm up to 47 now. I'm hoping by this time next week I will have my first 50 pub and have my third 50. So
Well, that sounds cool. That sounds cool.
what you been up to, man?
Oh man, I'd like to say that I've been busting ass and blah blah blah. I really haven't. I've been lazy as shit. I did dailies a couple times on a couple days in a row on Ricard, so I've just been kind of making money for the Kinneys. Me and Kiwi went. Well, I was on my Sork, and we ran and did some dailies on her, and ran into one of our LFG failures of the week. Well, he's really not even an LFG failure. We went to Corellia to do our daily, and he goes, "Well, you want to start off doing the heroic, or you want to do it at the end?" And I was like, let's wait till the end. That way, we can just die in and turn it all at once."
Mm-hmm.
So we get completely done, and we're looking for people to help. And I don't remember what class this idiot was, but nonetheless, it was on the imp side. This character named Nina Sorrows, and amazing legacy name of the Sorrows legacy.
Not everybody's got a big imagination, man. I mean, look at mine, Night Cutter. I should have went and Coke.
Yeah. Well, Lanyard and Coke.
Well, I would have come up with some.
Yeah. But we get into this run, and of course, CC is very important, no matter what run you're doing.
Always
and,
CC if you can.
CC
when possible.
We've got 3 or 4 different forms of CC in the group. I can whirlwind something. This other guy can droid, slice the droid. This other guy can, blind, or that's what it was. Dude can Kiwi was able to blind another target. So we had 3 CCs. It would have been, it was an easy run nonetheless. I mean, it's a fairly simplistic run for anybody who's done it. But doing the heroic on the imp side, I'm going in there and we're trying to CC everything. Well, as soon as I would CC a target or we would slice the droid, this idiot would fucking launch right into him. So, I dubbed Nina Sorrows too retarded for CC because it didn't matter which pool. It didn't fucking matter, man. I could mark the motherfuckers we were going to CC, and he'd immediately launch into one of the CC targets.
Crazy.
And it's not that
he apparently didn't listen to our show.
Not that Naga doesn't have the gear to be able to heal through that shit with no problem. I mean, I was DPSing too, so obviously I wasn't exactly sweating heals.
You were with Naga?
Yeah.
So this was a level 50 that doesn't know how to tank.
It doesn't know how to.
It doesn't know how to DPS.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, everything died really quick, so it really, wasn't huge. It's just aggravating. You go through from one end of the run to the other, and every time you CC a target out of the 3 targets we can CC, he immediately launches into that instead of going after the soft targets of the, what do they call those? The strongs. Right. Just goes right into an elite. And it's like, dude, are you handicapped? Do you have a mental disability?
Yeah.
And, even trying to be a good guy, I'm trying to shut off my other monitor here. See if that causes too much light.
Fine.
It helped out a little bit. But, even, Kiwi's like, dude, watch your target. And he just, every fucking time, from one end to the other. And when it was over, I was so enamored that it was finally done. But a lot of my work actually this week, with the exception of dailies, as far as questing goes, I've worked on getting my Juggernaut caught up to where he should be planetary. Through his quest, so I finished. Balmora?
Mm-hmm.
I want to say on him, and I went and I picked up that douchebag, useless fucking healer, Malvin Quinn or Malvo. What was his name? You know who I'm talking about.
Quinn?
Quinn, yeah, that asshole.
Oh yeah.
I got him now, so whoop-de fucking do.
Malvin.
I want to
Mal.
say it was Malvin.
I know. I just called him Mal. Well, everybody just calls him Quinn.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna probably use him because I am
Yeah,
a tank.
you're gonna want to gear him up,
Yeah.
and you're gonna want to make sure he likes you a lot too, because I've noticed that with
He's
him.
not gonna like me. I'm fucking pure evil.
Well,
Like Danikar even Gazini even uses the diplomacy mission so he can become evil faster.
well,
And
I just noticed that when he didn't like me as much, he just like would never heal me. I mean, he'd be like heal himself. I'm dying, but he's
Yeah.
healing himself. He was probably the worst healer I think I've had so far.
I think they did that on purpose. They were trying to figure out which companions they could get away with making douchebags, and they were like, Quinn looks like a douchebag.
Quinn's a douchebag.
Yeah.
He speaks British. He must be a douchebag. Sorry. That was not right.
Yeah, you just lost our 30 subs in the UK, you fucking cunt. Oh, God. Oh,
yeah, but I gained like 50 from the Aussies, so see, it's a wash.
Oh God. And then what was it? I played on my trooper quite a bit. I've gotten her caught up on her. I think I've got her planetary missions finally caught up, and she's 32.
Oh,
cool. So Nalani's 32. She's still pure goodness and sweetness. Just like what I did with Rakat. I mean, in the Legacy in game, she's married to Rakat, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
They're both just there earning a day's salary. They're not trying to fuck anything up. They're not trying to screw anybody over. It was fun playing on her.
Cool.
I did, like I said, I remade Amelia Pond.
Oh, Amelia.
Yeah, I remade Amelia Pond, but unfortunately, Amelia Pond, Amy Pond, and any derivation thereof, Amy Pond, was taken or just not able to be used. So I ended up using the actress's name, which is Karen something or other, because that way it's more cerebral. I actually told my wife, I was like, listen, if you're a real Doctor Who fan, you'll know the actress's name. So
yeah, you'll have people following you around going, are you really her?
Yeah. God, I can only imagine. I want somebody to make a character named Elvis. See if that happens.
I'm sure it has.
But when I was running on my pub, I was running on my pub. I did. I want to say it was Catamaru, possibly.
Cadmium.
It's Catamaru. That's
not Catamaru is like a place on Earth.
Catamimu, fuck you. It's fucking Flashpoint, you cocksucker. Fucking bitch at me, and you don't even know what planet you just came off, you dumb shit. Ah, fucking cocksucker. But anyway, I ran into this asshat named Kelso. Kelso is on the pub side. He doesn't listen to tanks and apparently thinks he is a fucking tank. He was a complete douchebag. Every time we used CC, however rare it might have been, he would immediately launch into that NPC. He took a bunch of shortcuts he didn't need to and ended up aggroing twice as much shit. Just complete fucking jackass. But I did come across a guild name in game, and I don't know, this one was kind of a stretch, not quite as funny, but we have been leaning towards a lot of the Ewok type names, and so I found this one the other day. I want to say it was probably pub side because I haven't been on my Imperials a lot, but it was the Ewok Crime Cartel.
Ewok Crime Cartel?
Yes.
Nice. Let's see, that would be ECC.
Yeah. And then we got an email from Rob Bailiff, and he was talking about interesting guild names, and he actually found one on his EU server called the Wookiee Shavers. There's a hell of a job. Thank God for lightsabers. But I thought it was funny because I want to say he played on Sith side, so he's playing on a PvP server if I remember correctly from emails way back when. And, he found the Wookiee Shavers, and I thought, that's pretty fucking cool,
Yeah.
I'm glad that somebody else is out there looking around their server, it really, I think looking for those guild names kind of makes you more observant on your server.
Oh,
you're
yeah.
walking around now, you're listening to the show, and you're like, wow, those are some fucked up names. I wonder what I can find, and you go through.
Right.
And a lot of people, they've got those serious fucking guild names. It breaks my heart. It's a
Well,
game.
I've got all my names turned off on friendlies, so I don't see them unless I've got them targeted.
Well, I do too. But what I do is I sit there and when I'm bored, I'll
Here's a
walk
serious
around.
name. Here's a serious. I was just looking up here to see if I'd see any in the video. There's a serious name on the imp side, Imperial Ground Forces.
Oh yeah.
See,
So they're the Brown Knights.
right?
Oh, all right. So, I mean, like I said, I did a lot of flashpoints. I ran through a storyline really quick on some of the characters because I've played that class before.
Hmm.
I do look forward to earning up or getting back to around 30 on my other account or on my consular and seeing what happens there.
Hmm.
But that's about it for my week. So I guess we can slide into the news.
Into the news.
Here's your galactic news. Look what you missed while you were sleeping.
We had a patch this last week, and I actually was discussing it with Lanyard because I read the patch notes to myself, and I thought maybe I had read them in the show. That's what I get for growing up in a pod cloud.
I wouldn't think
So in the larger portion of the patch this week, because of course we have the amended patch note, which is all of like a line and a half. Combat of Jedi Knights, the Sentinel combat Saber Storm, the critical damage bonus of this skill applied by a Rutu form was not functioning correctly, and we have opted to remove it as combat Sentinels are performing within expectations. This does not affect the current combat effectiveness of the skill. And it says the same thing for Marauder. So basically, they're going, we've removed the critical damage of this form because they're already beast. So, may or may not be good for some of you. Under Smuggler, it says the XS Freighter Flyby. This ability can no longer cause other players who are not flagged for PvP to become flagged. And the Orbital Strike, which is the Imperial equivalent, has the same effect. Under Flashpoints and Operations Can under Siege, the floating light will now glow as intended when the shader complexity preference is set below high. So people who had their shader settings lowered I remember
Walking
my
around
wife
in the
had
dark.
this. You basically you couldn't fucking see.
Yeah,
The
walking
light
around.
was just that bright.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Mm.
You literally were just like, it was like running into high beams the entire time. On SLS, here's one that's important. In the German client, the conversation option, which when choosing hard mode for this flashpoint has been corrected.
Yes, it used to say hard something else.
I don't want to know what it was hard about. Under
It
operations,
used to say hard chicken. You wanted to do it hard chicken mode. No,
That's
I don't know what it used to say, man.
explosive conflict using the probe launcher in Denova Minefield now reveals probes more consistently.
That's helpful.
Group Finder. Group leaders are now notified if they cannot queue the group for a replacement due to group members being offline, which means if they went offline, just fucking kick them, fuck them in the ass. Items General. Players' heads no longer clip through Battlemaster Vindicator's headgear or prototype Primeval Vindicator chest piece, and the Warstalker's headgear textures no longer stretch upon the character's death. So apparently they were getting into
But they still haven't fixed my chest piece on my Marauder that has the little flag that sticks up when I die.
Oh, your cape just kind of blows.
Right, it just sticks straight up.
That's why I don't want a cape for that guy.
Oh, this
Under
isn't the cape.
Legacy-
This is just part of the chest piece. It's really strange.
Under Legacy, this one was one that Sudo was kind of interested in, and I think it speaks to people who haven't really rolled that many alts, but are starting to and want to get into it and probably bitching about the price. The Legacy levels required for experience modifier perks have been adjusted. The ranks now require Legacies 2, 3, 5, 7, and 10, as opposed to moving in increments of 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25. Similarly, the legacy levels required for companion modifier perks adjusted. The ranks now require 2, 5, and 8. Once again, it was by modifiers of 5. Capital World and Outlaw Den priority perks that required Legacy Level 2, now require Legacy Level 2, was 10. Fleet and Vanguard Black Hole priority transport required level is now 5, was 10. Legacy level required for the repair droid perks have been adjusted. The ranks now required are 5, 8, and 12. And Field Respect now requires Legacy level 5.
Basically, they took all those and split them in half.
More or less. I mean, if you'd been playing since the start of the fucking game, your Legacy level is ridiculous anyway. Even if you're
some people haven't.
Kitties.
Some people haven't. There are some people that are new, but still, I don't know.
And
whatever. It's just, it's the start. This is the start. They start with little stuff that nobody really gives a shit. Okay, fine, whatever. The next thing you know...
Oh, Jesus, Chicken Little. Chicken Little.
Start giving shit away.
Yeah, WoW did it too. It's okay.
I know. Look where they're at now. They're under 9 million subscribers now.
Yeah, I think it was like 8 million. And they got their actual account. Blizzard got hacked. That was hot. Anyway, another show. Missions and NPCs. Missions, Balmora, Calicoid Massacre. This mission is no longer repeatable after completion. So another mission that was able to be treated like a repeatable. Mm-hmm. Taurus, prized missions. The players in a group no longer need to wait for the colony data repository or toolbox to respawn before they are able to loot it. So that's kind of a plus. And under PvP, Novara players no longer land on top of the buildings that surround the consoles when using abilities that charge an enemy, such as force charge.
Right.
So apparently people were just jumping on top of buildings at random.
I've been trying to get on top of that building too. Apparently they've made it so you can't get on top of those little huts. I don't know why. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's not like it can't be targeted. It's pretty.
It offers a line of sight issue, and if you can't be targeted, it does offer an unfair advantage. Just like how you could hide inside the huts themselves and be able to cap them without being noticed because you were literally in the corner, all scrunched up, and it's only a profile. Yeah. Here's another great important one. I love this section. Miscellaneous bug fixes.
Yay.
The Iron Fist emote now works correctly in the German client
as Eisenfaust.
Eisenfaust. Yeah, no shit.
Probably, I'm guessing means Iron Fist.
I don't know. The performance of Bloom visual effect option has been improved and corrected some minor text errors.
Actually, I did notice that Bloom improvement.
I never noticed. And then again, they went under flashpoints for the amended patch, which was the minefield probe. Blah 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 reveals the shit revealed during the encounter with Colonel Volgarth. So the mine probe droids are now able to be revealed. So
which is good because it's hard as hell. I would imagine it'd be hard as hell to get through that minefield if you can't pop the proids. The proids up.
You can't pop your roids.
If you can't pop your roids.
Well, there was a little bit of news here and there and everywhere across the interwebs. We were going to cover the Q&A, but I'll simplify it for you.
Yeah.
If you've listened to this week's show and you're like, fuck, I missed last week's show, right. Just go back to last week's show and listen to it because apparently all of my answers are fucking right.
Yep.
If you want to know what you can buy, it's everything.
Yep.
If you want to know what they're going to put out, they don't know.
They don't know, right?
If
you want to know how many characters you're gonna be able to, if you're worried about your characters being locked, if you go from pay to free, yes, they'll be locked. Am I gonna be able to choose my character? Yes, you'll be able to choose.
Yeah, your boat officially drops from 8 to 4, more or less, is how they're putting it. And literally, I can't believe that I hit so many nails on the head. And the funny thing was, what really, I don't even know if it's funny because it just pissed me off, is the fact that all the questions they used in the Q&A, every fucking question was on that stupid fucking press release they put out for Q&A. Like, why the fuck did you even entertain these asshats? Go to something more important. Like, hey, you guys have got some great races coming out. How far are we on the development? Where are we looking at for the release of the next major content patch?
Right.
Give me some shit that's important. Why are we entertaining asshats who can't figure out how to use clickable links that you put on Facebook, fucking YouTube? It's all over fucking Darth Hater site. It's all over our Facebook page. They've even tweeted the fucking links, and they're going to put them in the Q&A. I think the secretaries are the ones that did the Q&A today.
Either that or they just decided that none of the other questions were worth a shit and they wanted to address
How worthless could they be that they're doing something that literally they gave clickable links to?
I don't know, dude.
I mean, you know me. I normally don't bust BioWare's balls too hard, but that was just softball and fucking Q&A this week.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, go listen to last week. That's your answer for
There you go. There's Q&A. Done with Q&A. Done with the news.
So, I went around and like I do every week, I try to find a little bit of news here, there, and everywhere.
Oh, that's right. You got this.
About, what we got going on in the world of Star Wars. And apparently they were supposed to be dropping into a German gaming expo. And, they're still going to be there. But their advert for that was being able to play the newest Drop Zone, which even we haven't seen any footage of at their booth, and it really pisses me off that I haven't seen anything hitting on there. It says convention participants will be the first to get their hands on the Ancient Hypergates Warzone. There's going to be a chance to play that.
Nice.
Let's see. I'm trying to give a chance to play their own characters or try for the first time signing up through the free trial and playing one of the Origin worlds. So they were also showing people some of the free-to-play options there. And we're going to have the link for that at theforce.net. Really, kind of a cool article. There was actually a listing from CNN about, BioWare going with the pay-to-play model for the game. And, they refer to the pay-to-play option being, the bread and butter of the MMO industry. At least it was. And it looks like we're in fair company, I'll say. Quite a few games that were started off as free to, pay to play and are now free to play, like Lord of the Rings Online, Aeon, Guild Wars, Dungeons and Dragons Online, EverQuest. A lot of games that have gone that way. The only question that CNN really posed is, BioWare started as pay to play. Lord of the Rings, a lot of those games did start pay to play. But unfortunately, what ended up happening is that they took, after the first year or so, they saw a waning in subscription, and they went free to play and have seen insurmountable amounts of money based on the fact they went free to play. They're turning money in hand over fist now that they have some people that sub and other people that just say fuck it and buy in-game shit.
Right.
So it's kind of strengthening to know that there are other games out there, and even even somebody like money.cnn.com isn't shitting on the idea. They're like, listen, this could be potentially good. The developers behind Turbine actually said that they saw a enormous increase in the amount of people playing the game and more money than they ever would have thought possible through a pay-to-play. So that was kind of cool there. And once again, guys, we're just briefly tapping these articles because we have the very important interview with one of our people. As I was saying, guys, before the technical file, I'm doing this real quick just so that we can make sure to have time for Sudo's episode and for everyone to hear our contributor/listener, Joe Hagen, in our interview. But we had the Times article here, and basically it's just going over the free-to-play model and seeing where it is. They're in almost every article they say that, EA or BioWare, one or the other or both, or some of the producers or some of the big wigs at EA who probably don't have a clue what they're actually doing anymore these days, are constantly saying that the game's not meeting expectations. I went and did the math before the show. They made the $200 million back in month 1 of subs before everyone started unsubbing. They made their money back in production and distribution of the game just by buying just by selling it at the store counter. And they continually make $7.5 million off of the above 500,000 subs that they have. So the money's there. So I don't see the content going anywhere. I did want to cover one last piece of news, and it was this this hilarious thing. Apparently, Greg Zeschek, the co-founder of BioWare, actually had stepped away from the Star Wars project and it brought in Matt Bromberg. This actually happened back in May, but no one had realized it until just recently that he had stepped down. His family lives in Canada, so he's helping with this high-level project. And he said they said from the beginning that he said that he wasn't going to be here the entire time. He had actually intended on getting the game off and on its out and rolling on its feet, and then going back home to Canada.
Yeah.
Working on other projects. I mean, that's exactly what a project manager does. He gets it up, he gets it running, gets you what you need to go, knows that it's running smooth, and he oversaw the starting process to the rollover to free to play, and now he's going home, spending time with his family. So kudos to him, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. He brought us a fantastic project. He helped oversee it. Now he's spending time with family. Sounds like anything a smart man would do. I'd much rather spend time with my family and work on projects close to home so I can be with my kids and wife. So congrats to Greg. I'm glad that he was able to get back and get moving on that. Thank you for the content you bought, and thank you for making sure that we had a competent person to oversee the game, and that being Matt. So we're going to step away from that. We've got a bit of an interview we want you guys to hear for between me and Joe Hagen with some goofy pictures, because we didn't want to upset Joe and use any photos from his Facebook page, even though we could have. But next time Joe and I talk, or any of us talk, I'll probably record a little video for Uvu, make it a little bit more of an editing task for Lanyard there.
Yeah, because I need more technical glitches in my life.
And then we'll come back for a brief second so that we can introduce Sudo's piece, and then we'll be working on the closing part. So enjoy this interview, and we'll talk to you in a minute.
In the light of recent reports, we go to our man on the fleet, Dat, to find out what the people think of this new late-breaking news.
Joe Hagen, a fan of the show, he was quite dismayed a little bit by the information for the free-to-play model for the game. He's been around for a while. And I want to, as I always tell you guys, I want to make sure that I give you your due. If you want something to say, you want a way to record it, he's added me to Skype. So we're going to go ahead and find out what Joe has. Joe, now we found out some of the free-to-play items. They just released another press release on Facebook the other day. Pretty much the same garbage we've already been hearing. So, I mean, you're paying $15 a month right now. Is there any interest in the actual free-to-play model? Is there something that speaks to you there?
For me, no. The free-to-play model, I want to do Raider. I am a big PvE fan, so I want to do raids and stuff. Stick with the $15 per month. With the free-to-play, I feel like they're trying to get more money out. From a marketing sense, it's right, because in the Q&A they said you can pay more cartel coins, I believe it was, to get more added stuff to go past the restrictions and stuff. So in terms of the business sense, they're doing it right, but I feel like with the free-to-play, some people will be turning it off, especially if you can pay to win. I would be very turned off at that. And one of my friends, he said he would join Star Wars again if it went free-to-play. So I mean, it's big deal for some people. Other people, it depends on which direction they go at.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to some friends at work, and most of them they've been playing since beta, just like I have, and like Kevin has been, and of course Kevin's on and off. And I told Lanyard, I said, well, in Kevin's case, he doesn't get on often enough to maybe run ops, but he's locked into his World of Warcraft account until a year has gone by, because he went with the buy a year a while, get a free copy of DS3, and for his case, not having to pay the $15 a month and being able to switch over to an FT account may be behooving to those who really don't have cash. I mean, have you talked to anybody? You said your buddy.
Yeah, I bought him the game because he was strapped for cash, and so he's my best friend too, so I was like, okay, I'm going to be nice. And then so I got him the whole game. And so for a while we played together, then his time card ran out, and so then he said, oh, he's going to jump on some other MMOs which are free to play. I think Dark Souls was one of them. I'm not entirely sure, but and we were talking a few weeks ago about there's some big news coming out, and he said he was excited that he heard that there was talk about a free to play model for here, and now that it's come out, he's actually excited about it. The problem is he said he wanted to like that too, but as he earns cartel coins over the time, he'll probably get to go through the restrictions in a limited way. But he's excited about it.
And see, that was one of the things, we get a lot of questions on YouTube, what do you think cartel coins are going to be used for? And one of the thoughts I had was that it was going to be, we have the legacy system, and there's certain unlocks there that require in-game credit. I'm thinking cartel coins may actually be a secondary to some of the legacy and potentially take away some of the restrictions on an FTP account. But I think they'll be at a price that will more than likely behoove a possible one-time purchase. But I also think there'll be a substantial enough nature. The idea of paying per month may end up being a better option. Have you put any thought into that at all? Have you seen? I mean, I know we're all excited about the Party Jawa and all, but
yeah,
I'm guessing in-game pets will be the deal too, because that's what I've seen from World of Warcraft. I play a lot of free-to-play shooters, and 9 times out of 10, it's all weapon-based. With this, we're talking things that are supposed to be, at least initially, cosmetic and quality of life. And in some cases, really, gearing does count as quality of life. And I'm hoping that, as you said, win doesn't work out.
Right. For the vanity, I actually like that because even though right now they do have like a lot of the customizable gear that you can do,
Mm-hmm.
like you have all these different looks. I think it'll go towards helping customize your toon out more. So because I've seen with my gear, I'm a smuggler and I have the eye patch. I took a long time to get that eye patch. See people with the eye patch and maybe my boots. So I mean, even though I'm still diversified from a lot of people, I still feel like that, and not everyone's gonna wear the same thing. So with this, I feel like it'll help customize a little like this, and I like that, like the Darth Nullis mask. Mm-hmm. I mean, everyone loves that, and so a lot of people are gonna get that, but that's only one of the few leaked so far. So there could be a lot more that you could see that they have a potential to put on vanity and other things like that. That seems like pretty cool. What I would really like to see is somehow get it where you can display or whatever like that, and you can start to customize that out more. I mean, everyone's got the same ship if you're the same class. If you can customize that, I think that would be really cool, because when at some point I've heard that they're doing the free roam ship raid stuff like that, and then so if you can see if other people are going to be seeing your ship, you can customize that out more too. That's like to see it at some point also.
Well, and they talked about the meditation throne, which I kind of thought was cool. But my problem with that is, like, is it going to be something that you spawn just like everything else, like your holodancer, and it's just like, oh, look, there's meditation.
Summon it, then all of a sudden you're sitting in the throne. It's like, yes, bow to me, fools.
Or see, and what I would like is not so much exterior customization on the ship. I would like to be able to change things inside my ship.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm an accessorizing freak when it comes to games that let me accessorize. So it'd be nice to be able to, I don't know, change the interior so it's not all metallic looking. Maybe you want to go with a shiny black interior.
Yeah.
Something more regal. I'm not super, I'm not super creative with what I'd put in there, but it depends on what they give me. I thought one of the things that would be cool, and it was there were a lot of mods in WoW that would allow you to put in small games. I told Lanyard it would be hilarious if you could put a basic arcade game in your ship, so during downtime, I can play some of the old licensed games in there. And there's a lot of great ones from Game Gear and Nintendo and the earlier 8-bit section that wouldn't require a ton of memory. Would be kind of fun to go back and play.
Right. Another thing too, I stated earlier, I'm a smuggler, and so in my ship I have that little chessboard or something like that in the corner of the like you've seen in the Star Wars episode, the chessboard or whatever it is. I would like to see if they can either you can pay for that or something like that through cartel coins, or if they can add that too in there. At that point, just have your little mini games inside your ship too, and you can just do that.
Either that, or they could, with all the time everyone spends on fleet, it'd be nice if they throw them in the bars.
Yeah, that is. And then another thing, or in my case, it's S-less because I'm Republic. poker board or Prazak board or whatever it is, it's clickable, but it says you cannot enter at this time. So it's like, well, why is it clickable at that point? And so I think if they added like a separate section to the fleet or whatever, you can you can start doing those little mini games at that point too.
Or for that matter, encourage people to go back to planets like Nar Shaddaa and make some Pazak tables and the gambling there. I mean, that's something I think that casual gamers get into. I don't know about hardcores, but they're talking about free to play being something that is very interesting to casual players. If that was the case, little mini games inside of this larger universe would help for overall, I think, immersion if you were into the RP aspect of it, or help downtime in between missions. You don't necessarily want to bang out every mission. Not everybody's looking to get from point A to point B. They're talking about credit sinks. What about a way to give back? Because you could do. I'm sure if you've played a lot of MMOs, you'll see it here and there. You'll do the /roll gambling system, and somebody with a ton of credits will say, "I'm giving 2 to 1 on this. Roll me over $1,000. You could win 100,000, and off of doing /roll in game. It'd be cool if you had something in game. People, but I've heard many people are somewhere around 5 million credits on my server, though I can't seem to amass that much money because I'm constantly dropping it into one of my Kennies or something. Or rolling a crew skill. It does get a little aggravating, but if you have a ton of money, what's better than the ability to sink it in? Or if you've got very little money and you're like, man, I could really use another $5,000 in credits. Nar Shaddaa casino and roll it up a little bit.
I think also with the free to play, because they're restricting so much at this point too. It's like once you get to 50, what's the point of? You're going to be restricted on PvP. You're going to be restricted on PvE also. And what are you going to do? Just go around getting all your codexes or whatever? I mean, some people are into that, but I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of these free to play people want to do some other things too. So why not add these little mini games just to distract them, and then if they're bored with it, then they want to do operations or whatever, then they can pay for that. And it's also another distraction from some hardcore gamers too. With me, I do a lot of PvE and like with yesterday we ran at ops, we were so frustrated because failing so much in EC hard mode, and I was just like, you know what? I'm sick of this op. I want to do something else. So I jumped into PvE, and I'm not a big PvP fan. And so it's like, okay, well, I want to do some other things too. And space missions right now aren't that fun because I've done them so many times and it's gotten boring. So with this, it's kind of more like a PvP, but in a smaller sense. You're not just facing off against skills. You're facing off against skills in terms of the gambling and stuff. And a lot of time that's luck.
Yeah, and I mean, it sounds like there'd be a lot of great opportunity, one way or the other on it. I don't know. I would like to see a little bit more out of the game. I would like to see that the credit sinks become something, if they're going to do them. I had a thought, and it unfortunately escaped my memory because my wife is flipping out. The LFG tool continually put in for healing, and she's not a healer. And trust me, she should. There's a lot of things with cartel coins, like I said, that I think will be. I really can't. I try not to overstep it because I know at some point they're going to give us a full list of here's all your crap, and I look forward to seeing it. Now, as far as the mission, the alleged expansion, whether or not that's going to be a paid expansion, or at this point, it looks like it's going to be a free to release. Once you hit 50, if you do not have a paid account, you won't be able to get into ops, like you said. But you have the other restriction is the limited amount of character slots. Now, they didn't say how many slots they were going to give. Presumably, it'll be happening as a paid account. Maybe that's something they're looking to get with cartel coins, because we're going to get a new species here soon. So with the idea of the Cathar coming, the idea of only having 4 slots just seems ridiculous.
Yeah, that's my opinion on that too. It just seems you got these 4, and with the restrictions on the races you can choose too, I would think that with Cathar that would be one of the restricted ones in my opinion. So that you can pay with a ton of cartel coins to get a certain. And plus, you're at that point too, you're restricted on what tunes you can play. And so it's more of a, okay, I want to choose these couple, and then that's it. Whereas the hardcore, I like to choose, I want to do every class, and so because I'm a story guy.
Yeah, and I mean, I look forward to running a Cathar. I think that's actually what might make me play my smuggler through.
Oh,
But now I do have one last question for you. I know the time's been short, but I have one last question for you. Now, in one of our recent PvP episodes or PvP videos we released, Lanyard was flipping out, and I think he did it during the show as well. He was referring to the free-to-players as food stamps. Now, you sound to be a little bit more liberal, more like myself. What do you think? Do you think that there will be a view from the community that people are to pay for it?
In some cases, yeah, because like you said, with and especially with a lot of us, we are cash strapped. We can only stick with one. But other times, people are just gonna be doing it just to try it out first,
Right.
and then they're gonna be going up. And it's more. I'm actually a marketing student also, and so I look at this as more of a try to expand your horizons at the same time. So I take both sides into account as the way to expand your market more and try to get into it and get more people into it, because now everyone is suffering in the MMO community. I believe it was 2 days ago I've heard WoW drop down below 9 million. Now it's not a lot considering it's WoW. They got a huge lead among anyone else, but everyone's suffering, so they're trying to get themselves out a little further, try to get more people in.
Yeah.
And it's just more of a try to get people into it, see if they like it, and yeah.
Yeah, and I mean I understand that too, because with a lot of the games, while at height being right about Wrath of the Lich King, when Lich King dropped, they saw subscribers go up to nearly 13 million at that point, and we're seeing them backpedal. And of course, everyone in every podcast and every time I bring it up, I make sure that I don't say them diminishing, World of Warcraft. I played WoW for over 5 years. So obviously I was a big supporter of Blizzard for a long time, and I actually stopped playing that game because there wasn't as much content for me, because I had nine characters at max level, and I logged in on my best geared tunes, and I just doing anything. With Mop, of course, Kevin.
Yeah.
But Blizzard has been in the game in respects to video games in general. Blizzard has 8 years now, and they may or may not be running out of steam with the games as they currently are. The free-to-play model seems to be more and more prevalent, because the microtransactions end up bringing in more people. And much as I found out while playing a free-to-play shooter, you don't notice when you're dropping 5, 10, right here and there. I actually told everybody, well, man, I'd love to play WoW with you guys. I just can't afford it right now. Well, when I stopped playing that free-to-play shooter, I went back and I checked my account, and I'd spent over $600.
Yeah,
never noticing.
Actually, we talked of because I am a marketing student in business too. Little amounts, you don't really notice it that much. But until you see the final product of it, and then you realize you've done it all. It's because when you do the little amounts, it's like it seems like it's nothing, and then like a while later you forget about it. And go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say it's that drop in a bucket feeling that you're like, oh, no big deal, it's just $5. I don't care.
Right.
It's just no big deal. And then once you get back, if you take the chance to go back and look at it, you're going, oh my God, I spent that much. My World of Warcraft account cost me $15 a month. Granted, I pay for at that point I was paying for 3 accounts, so for me it was $45 a month. But even at that, if you look at the $600 roughly I spent on my own account, then my nephew was playing the same game, and I spent an equal amount, not including the money that he put into his account, for all these items in game. And in that game in particular, it was a pay-to-win situation. There were certain benefits to buying those upgrades. Luckily, so far, World of Warcraft hasn't done anything like that. Most of the MMOs haven't. It's almost all cosmetic, and I'm once again going to hope that Star Wars does that.
Right.
But before I cut the wheels off this train, Joe, you're a gracious sponsor, oddly, contributor. I want to thank you for that. And I know that I know that I don't remember reading it in the emails or the messages from you, but I play with you, Joe. What server? What's your character name? What's your guild?
I'm on the Corellian Run server. You can find me either as Maggie or Brutus Mattel, and we are.
All right. Well, Joe, I do want to thank you again for being a part of the show and being a fan of the show, of course. Let's keep the wheels on this train.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And, we hear from any other of our fans, whether they decide to contribute, monetarily, or if they just want to, contribute through audio. Be glad to hear from anybody else. And thank you once again, Joe, and look forward to hearing from you again in the future.
Yep, it's a great show. Glad to be part of it.
Anyway, so that was our interview with our buddy Joe Hagen and his thoughts on it. I hope you guys gained a little introspect from that. And once again, if you'd like to follow him or follow his example, you're more than welcome to friend me on Skype, much as he did. And granted, we're willing to have you guys back anytime, have you guys on the show or feature you guys in a special spotlight anytime. But it was nice to be able to talk to someone who really believes in the game and really believes in us. So that was a major plus. And now we're going to take another 5 minutes to go ahead and take a look at what Sudo got for us this week.
Hello, this is Sudo, your Galactic Librarian, with the continuation of Chapter 2. Omen's permanent crew came from the same human stock as Corson, the debris of a noble house, launched skyward centuries before in the whirlwind that formed the Tapani Empire. The Sith had found them and found them useful. They were skilled in commerce and industry, all the things the Sith Lords needed most but never had time for with their world-building and world-destroying. His ancestors ran ships and factories, and ran them well, and before long mingling their blood with that of the Dark Jedi. The Force was in his people too. They were the future. They couldn't acknowledge it, but it was obvious. Many of the Sith Lords were still of the crimson-hued species that had long formed the nucleus of their following. But the numbers were turning, and if Naga Sadow wanted to rule the galaxy, they had to. Naga Sadow, tentacle-faced Dark Lord and heir to ancient powers. It was Naga Sadow who had dispatched Omen and Harbinger in search of Lydgan crystals. Naga Sadow who needed the crystals on Kurik to defeat the Republic and its Jedi. Or was it the Jedi and their Republic? It didn't matter. Naga Sadow would kill Commander Corson and his crew for losing their ship. Sealer was right about that much. Yet Sadow need not lose the war, depending on what Corson did now. He still had something, the crystals. But the crystals were high above at the moment. It had been a night of horrors, getting 355 people down from the lofty plateau. 16 injured had died along the way, and another 5 had tumbled into the darkness from the narrow ledge that formed the only apparent way up or down. No one doubted that evacuation had been the right call, though. They couldn't stay up there, not with the fire still burning and the ship precariously perched. The last to leave the ship, Corson had nearly soiled himself when one of the proton torpedoes had disengaged from the naked tube, tumbling over the precipice and into oblivion. By sunrise, they'd found a clearing halfway down the mountain, dotted with wild grasses. Life was everywhere in the galaxy, even here. It was the first good sign. Above, Omen continued to burn. No need to wonder where above the ship was, Corson thought. Not while they could follow the smoke. Now, walking back into the afternoon crowd, less an encampment than a gathering, Corson knew he never need wonder where his people were, either. Not while his nose worked. Now I know why we kept the Maasai on their own level, he said to no one. Charming, came a response from over his shoulder. I should say they are not very happy with you, either. Ravelin was a red Sith, pure-blooded as they came. He was quartermaster and keeper of the Maasai, the nasty lumbering bipeds that the Sith prized as instruments of terror on the battlefield. At the moment, the Maasai didn't seem so formidable. Corson followed Ravelin into the fiendish circle, made even less pleasant by the stench of vomit. Florid monsters 2 and 3 meters tall sprawled on the ground, heaving and coughing. Maybe some kind of pulmonary edema, Silas said, passing around purified air canisters salvaged from an emergency pack. Before connecting with Devore and securing a place on his team, she'd been a battlefield medic, though Corson couldn't tell from her bedside manner, at least with Maasai. She barely touched the wheezing giant. We're no longer at elevation, so this should subside. Probably normal. Alright, everybody, continue in next week for Chapter 2, Part 2.
All right. I believe that was Lanyard giving me the nod, right?
That was the nod.
Thank God. I was afraid I was going to interrupt my wife's segment.
No.
But,
good. That was the first time I got to listen to it, too, and that was very good job.
Yeah, she said it was a lot easier this week to record her episode, so I was really proud of her for being able to, get in there and finish that up. And it was, she enjoys it, so, who am I to argue?
Nothing
my wife,
nothing like
fucking retarded.
Nothing like talking about vomit during an episode of Sith Talk.
Wow, I'm gonna have to listen to that fucking whole thing. What the fuck are you talking about this week? Shit.
Vomit, and someone almost shitting themselves. So yeah.
Vomit, shitting themselves. What the fuck were you reading?
Good book. Gotta listen to it, man.
Wow. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I guess I'll hear it in post. Wow. But yeah, I mean, it was a great time really to get to know Joe, not just as a fan, but as he repeatedly said, he was a marketing major, and how he can understand how FTP is going to open the door for quite a few options, quite a bit of extras for those of us who pay to play it, and for the people who get free to play to basically build themselves into a point they should have free to played anyway, or they should have paid to play anyway. But games play style is play style, and if free to play versus pay to play is your way, then I hold no grudges. You can continually pay more than I do for exactly the same shit I have every month.
And that's what's going to make me feel better about it.
Yeah.
Seeing all these people running around with little masks on, and everybody having this stupid chair and
the Darth Nihilus mask.
Yeah, and it's like, you guys are paying so much more than we are. They're like, oh, we're playing for free, ha ha ha. Yeah, okay, buddy. Nickel and dime yourselves to death.
And that's literally what it is. I mean, there's, one of the games that I've been playing online, I actually did, it's free to play, but of course, here and there you'll throw a little, cash. And,
I do the same thing with World of Tanks every now and then. I haven't played it in months, but yeah.
Right. But, every chance I get to talk to a subscriber of our show or listener or, a casual passerby, I'm more than happy to take the time out of my day to stop in and shoot the shit with you guys. Now, in our show, you only heard a 20-minute clip of it, and we actually did do the whole thing. I told Joe I didn't know how long we were or weren't going to put into the show. But we went ahead and used the full 20-minute clip that we recorded as far as that interview goes. Now, Joe and I actually spent about an hour and a half on Skype shooting the shit, just talking about, who we are as people and why I do the podcast and why, you do it. And, As I've said before, it's kind of a it's always been a dream of mine to be on radio, but I'm entirely too uncouth to have on a radio station or anything that's not satellite or anything regulated by the FCC. So thank God for the intertubes.
Well, at least
I would be shit out of luck.
At least you have a face for radio.
Oh, I definitely do. Mom helped me out with that one.
Your mom.
Apparently they put me out feet first. Yeah.
Well, it was a good. No, he had some really good points too, and I'm glad you did get to talk to him. It was nice to have a third perspective, other than our two perspectives on it. White Swords, of course, but it was good. It was good. He had some good points, and he actually made me less irritated with the free to play by listening to somebody. I mean, I still am not going to do free to play because. Right. It's just going to cost more for me to do free to play, because I'll want to do ops. Well, I got to pay $5 to play ops, or I want to do this, and I got to pay that. This is just cheaper for me to do it this way. And I recently downloaded another new game that just recently came out, and they've got they started out similarly with a subscription base, but then you can go to their store and buy stuff for social aspects. Right. And again, they don't have a free to play, but they have the subscription base and then the store, which is another way of doing it. And so far, their store's not worth purchasing anything out of.
Yeah, and it basically equates to doing the junior version of what Blizzard does now.
Right.
Which I don't shit on it. I bought tons of in-game items while I paid for my subscription, and I'm basically double paying for the service. But what the fuck?
I spent more on getting in-game coin than I did.
Well, in the early days when I didn't realize how they procured that coin through market manipulation and other ways.
The original way they did it was they actually had people actually farming. That's why they were called gold farmers. They would actually go out and farm. Then they came up with mods to where they could bot. So then they started getting onto the botters. Well, then they started saying, well, you know what we could do? We could just hack people's accounts, and that's when I stopped buying gold, because and
I honestly didn't know how that worked, and I did buy a little bit of coin, but as far as WoW went, I spent quite a bit of money, Kevin and I gifting back and forth with mounts and things of that nature, and I'm more than happy. If there's a really uber land speeder that I can pick up in SWTOR for $10, $15, $25, because that's how much I paid in WoW, then I more than likely will. But, if you guys want to be a part of the show, I will say this. I recently had a chance, and I think I talked to Joe about it prior, after we recorded that segment. I may have said something about it during the segment. I don't recall. But, I'm looking at a possibility of a promotion this week, and I'm really, really hoping that I get news on that. And what it may end up actually doing is allowing Lanyard and I to record at a non-nocturnal hour, so that we can actually include some people in reasonable hours of recording to be in the show. And not that that's going to, I want to make sure I preface it, it's not going to open the floodgates. We're not going to be like, oh yeah, everybody fucking jump on Uvu and jump on Skype and we'll shoot the shit for hours. I don't mean that. What I do mean is that we will be happy to include people from time to time on the show. And while I do appreciate Joe's contribution, I want to make sure that people don't think that you're buying your way onto the show. Right. Joe has been a long-standing fan. He just happened to decide to contribute this week, and we wanted, I made sure that he knew that we were appreciative of it long before we had ever gotten that contribution. He and I had talked back and forth via email, and
you didn't even get the email for like a month. You didn't even check your email. So.
Yeah, I didn't even know. Yeah, I checked on my the email that I have linked to the donation thing, and I was just going through my junk, and I'm like, oh, you received a payment. I was like, what the fuck is this? It was like 3 weeks ago. I hadn't even known.
Right.
So when I started talking to him, it was long before being on the show. It was long before I ever knew about the contribution.
Right.
Because obviously we have the Sith Talk at Gmail, and then of course I have the Dave Tokar at Gmail, which is our PayPal link.
Right.
But guys, anytime you want to be part of the show, hit me up. Let me know. We'll be happy to include your 2 cents, or maybe your 20 cents in the case of the 20 minutes we spent talking to Joe. Mm-hmm. And it's really nice to meet the fans, man.
Yep.
It's it's very much what we hope to be able to do next year at Comic-Con.
Yeah, right. Yeah, with our little booth, the three people that go, "Who the hell are you?" Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to also say, was it? I can't pronounce this guy's in-game name. Quaztech, the Q.
Oh yeah, Quiztech.
Quiztech. Yeah. He did. I wanted to say to him, because I know he's listening at work. Get back to work. Because the show's almost over, so it's time to go back to work.
Yeah, hit us up, man. I want to do some more PvP with you.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. We had some interesting discussions while we were PvPing, and it makes for good viewing, I think.
Yeah.
But, guys, once again, thanks for being a part of the show. Thanks for all of your reviews, your comments on YouTube, your emails, everything. Like I told Cake Factor earlier, man, it seems like a thankless job. We do this as a labor of love. Sometimes it's more like slave labor for us. But when we get great feedback or comments from our listeners and our viewers, it emboldens us to continue on the journey.
It's totally worth
it. Yeah, I never regret starting the podcast with Kevin. I don't regret continuing the podcast with Lanyard. And every week, I just look forward to seeing what the fans say. And I'm grateful that, we have a chance to talk to you guys every week. Next week, we'll probably have a bit more informative show, given some of the requests that were made. So who knows? We might just shoot the shit. We might just throw some interesting information out there, see what BioWare gives us to play with, and we'll go from there, guys. Once again, thanks, and we'll see you in the pit.
Thank you again for joining us here on Sith Talk. Lanyard and Dadakar look forward to talking with you next week. Remember to follow us on Twitter at Sith Talk, or stop by our Facebook page at facebook.com/Sith Talk. And of course, our Gmail is sithtalk@gmail.com. This music brought to you by freeplay.com. And remember, peace is a lie. There is only passion. Through passion, I gain strength. Through strength, I gain power. Through power, I gain victory. Through victory, my chains are broken. The Force shall free me.